The selection for this bouquet is Alstroemeria, glasshouse chrysanthemums, brightly coloured rose, snoddy-gobble, which is actually a myrtle, and this is being arranged in the hand, making sure that we're looking at the length of the foliage to the length of the flowers. Roses, clean off those outer sepal casing petals. Always make sure the flowers look at their best. All stems on the bench have been pre-cleaned. It means that the foliage below the waterline has been removed. This is an extremely important part of your preparation. The vibrantly coloured rose sits right in the centre, fed through the foliage. You have a surround of the glasshouse chrysanthemums, and this is coloured cellophane, which has been gathered, and a forked .90 20 gauge wire has been used to fasten the gathers, like a handkerchief gather. The cellophane sections have been placed in a symmetrical pattern around the higher central chrysanthemums, and we're now adding another layer, chrysanthemum, snoddy-gobble foliage, in an even placement around the next perimeter. Colour distribution is very important, and the dominance of the cellophane plays a very important role in the overall structure of the bouquet. When you're using long-stemmed flowers, don't hold them too high up the stem, otherwise you're cutting stems at completion and you end up with a much shorter bouquet. You can make a long-stemmed bouquet provided there's enough stem area for the flowers to be drinking. And this is what we're achieving here. Alstroemeria is forming another layer around the perimeter, and with the stepping process, a further layer of cellophane. This is obviously a gift bouquet. It's not a natural looking bouquet because of the texture of the cellophane with the fresh flowers. As a gift, it would be very striking visually, very appealing to some people, and it also has a lot of impact with its actual size. It's a very large bouquet. It's really made the most of the flowers, using a sundry item to fill and give more impact. Long-stemmed roses, they won't be cut. The full value of that length will be used in the bouquet. When you have a limited number, make sure that you are spacing them. You don't want two together in a big gap. Space them around the perimeter. If you were to work them inwardly, then the same spacing principle would apply. As a completed product, if this was perhaps wrapped with lime or mauve and purple cellophane, as an open wrapping, this bouquet would look enormous as a gift. The pink is being continued to be placed, giving an even disbursement around the bouquet. Always check for spaces. Make sure that distribution is working well throughout all areas. The Alstroemeria must be the lower area, the central rose the highest, the cellophane being the outer perimeter, working to the lowest point in the domed shape. This can be finished with tie tape. You can see how nicely those stems are spraying from my index finger and thumb. A double knot to secure. So that would be the method of tying. Pull it tightly. If you've not let your hand slip during construction, all of those stems will cross at that point and the bouquet will not move at all during this tying process. This is one way of checking that you have followed the correct procedures of construction. Sprayed stems, sprayed right out. That's exactly what we want. Cut them on a good angle. And the container is ready either to be wrapped, and it could have some damp tissue, some cellophane around it if it's going to be transported, and then wrapped. Bows would be very much optional on this. Clean off any extra areas left on the stems, any foliage. Make sure from the point of view of bacteria that the stems are as clean as possible to give the flowers their maximum lifespan. Place some conditioning solution in the container and you will ensure you fight that bacteria. Look at the central rose We see the disbursement through the bouquet. Lovely colour, the green is coming through evenly. Very striking, very rich. Very interesting in the embellishment to the textures of the bouquet. Other choice flowers such as tulips, lisianthus and calla lilies, for example, could be used in the same placement as the roses. It's optional to have it sprayed with water, and to make your designing skill a challenge, if you chose to use the cellophane in 2 or 3 different colours, how would you disperse it? This is something you need to think about so that the colour works through the bouquet.